Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skate Down. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. So I want to talk about JT Miller in this video. I read a recent article that linked him to a couple of different teams. Those teams are the New York Rangers, the New York Islanders, the Carolina Hurricanes, and the New Jersey Devils. So I want to talk about that in this video. I want to talk about trade proposals that were made in this certain article, and we'll see what happens. But with not that many names left out there in free agency, you may see teams start to make some trades. We saw what happened with the Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau and Mackenzie Weegar trade from Calgary to Florida and vice versa. You may start to see some teams start making trades and looking at those names that were floating around prior to the trade deadline. Names like JT Miller, Tarasenko, Timo Meier. So definitely keep an eye out on, especially on these teams, because I really feel like these teams could make a move to bolster their lineup heading into the last couple of weeks in free agency. So the first one I want to talk about is the Rangers. The Rangers have $4.8 million available in cap space. This offseason, they added Vincent Trocheck, alot, and Carpenter to round out their bottom lines. And, could they afford JT Miller? JT Miller right now is currently making $5.25 million. They're going to have to trade out some cash to bring him in. And, with 4.8 available, I don't think the Rangers are in it as much as they were in the past. They tried to get him leading into the trade deadline, but it couldn't make it work. And I really don't think the Rangers can fit him into the structure going forward with that much cap space available. They can always clear out, they can always make some room by trading some people out and bringing him in. They can do that, but I just don't see it happening. The New York Islanders. The New York Islanders tried hard for a couple of players. They tried hard for Tarasenko. They tried hard for Johnny Gaudreau. They tried hard for Matthew Tkachuk, and they couldn't land anybody. During the NHL draft, Lou Lamoriello made a great trade by bringing in Alexander Romanov. I really liked him with the Montreal Canadiens. He plays a big physical game on the back end, really rounds out their top six, and I like that move of bringing in Romanov. A lot of Islanders fans were kind of pissed. He was very quiet as free agency opened, but sometimes it's not all about who you sign and you just sit back and wait and then you add something late in the offseason. I really feel like the Islanders can make a move now to bring someone in. They have $11.1 million available in cap space, and the article mentioned a pretty interesting trade. Aatu Räty, a first-round pick in the 2023 draft, and a roster player, and they mentioned Bellows and Wahlstrom, and I'm going to mention Beauvillier in this one. I don't think the Islanders are gonna trade Wahlstrom and give up on him. I think this guy is a great sniping forward, still young, and with a veteran team like the Islanders, you're gonna need some young kids in there, and I think Wahlstrom fits that bill. I like the way this kid could shoot and score, and I hope the Islanders keep him around. But with Bellows or Beauvillier, you heard their names mentioned in a lot of trade rumors, and I wouldn't be surprised if they throw in Aatu Räty in a first-round pick. So the Islanders, they have the cap space to do it. They have about 11.1 that Cap Friendly shows now. They still have a couple of moves to make, but this is interesting with the Islanders. I know Lou Lamoriello wants to add something, some top six forward to play with Barzal, so we'll see what happens. But keep an eye on the Islanders. I really feel like they're going to add something heading into the end of the offseason. The Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are very interesting. They have $4 million in cap space available. The article mentioned a first-round pick in the 2023 draft, Marty Necas, and that's all they mentioned in the article. But I'm going to throw in Ethan Bear. Ethan Bear is a name that's been floated around in trade rumors leading up to the trade deadline as well. They did well in the offseason, bringing in Pacioretty, Burns, and Kasha. But this is another team that with only $4 million available in cap space, they're going to have to shed some cap space if they want to bring in a player like JT Miller. But I think he'd be an interesting fit for the Hurricanes, but I just don't see it with their cap space available of bringing in a player like Miller. I think kind of bringing in Pacioretty and Burns solidified their offseason, and they do look better on paper. So we'll see what happens with the Hurricanes. But they were a team that was in on Tkachuk. So if they can make moves and make it happen, they can definitely do it with Miller if they were trying for Tkachuk. The Devils. The Devils have $8.7 million available in cap space. They still have Jesper Bratt, Tyce Thompson, and Miles Wood to sign. So they still have some moves to make prior to even thinking about doing stuff. But they were in on Johnny Gaudreau, one of the last teams that were in the running, and Matthew Tkachuk as well. So, with Johnny Gaudreau, we lost out on him. Then we quickly signed Palat. So I thought the Devils were done at that point, but hearing that they were involved in the Matthew Tkachuk rumors just leads me to believe that Fitzgerald isn't done. If he can acquire something and make us better, I think he will. So adding JT Miller, I think, would help the Devils. I think it's one of those players that kind of is like Matthew Tkachuk, but a bit older, that can play the physical game, that can add on the score sheet, can, stick up for his players. So if the Devils want that sort of player, I think they should try to acquire him. Fitzgerald talked about adding size. I know Palat is bigger than our current forwards that we have on our roster, but we don't have that physical player that goes out there and plays well along the boards, that hits, crashes the front of the net, and we need that. So JT Miller would provide that to this team. So the article mentioned the trade, and I know all Devils fans are going to go crazy. The article mentioned a first-round pick in the 2023 draft, and just to remind everybody, the 2023 draft is a deep draft class. So for teams that are willing to throw in a first-round pick, they're going to get something good in return. So Jesper Boquist was also mentioned, and with defense prospects of Shakir Muhammadulin or Kevin Ball. So with the way the Devils have lined up and really added to not only their forwards but defense, they can really. I think this is the time where they can really package something in to get some help if they want to. And JT Miller is very interesting. So talking about JT Miller, 29 years old, he's 6'1", 218 pounds. So he's got a big frame. He's a 2011 first-round pick, 15th overall of the New York Rangers. Currently making $5.25 million AAV. His current contract expires at the end of the 22-23 season. The Canucks, like I said earlier in the video, they have no cap space. Cap Friendly shows that they have a negative $2.7 million in cap space, so they have to make some moves. So if they can't move Garland or they can't move Myers, you're going to see JT Miller moved. And, the Vancouver Canucks can do some moves to really gain some cap space. And these are three of the names that I think may be on the move very soon. So, a while ago, this was after the trade deadline. This was after the draft. I saw this rumor floating around. The Devils were still interested in Canucks forward JT Miller. And this was per Irfan Gaffar. Frank Saravelli, after that, mentioned that he said he believes a potential JT Miller extension would be north of $8.5 million on a 4 to 5 year deal. So if you can get a team that could trade for the Vancouver Canucks, instead of offering him a 4 or 5 year deal, if you can offer him maybe a 5 or 6, which would take him until 35 years old, 34, 35 years old, then you could possibly have less on the cap by offering him a bit more term. So that's something that can happen with any team looking to acquire him. If they want to get a lower cap hit, they can give him the extra year or two if they're trying to trade for him and sign him to a longer deal. So that's definitely something to consider if you're looking to bring in JT Miller. So looking at JT Miller's stats, this past year, 2021, 2022, he played in 80 games, 32 goals, 67 assists for 99 points, his career year. Phenomenal year he had. In 2020, 2021, he played in 53 games, 15 goals, 31 assists, 46 points. And in 2019, 2020, he played in 69 games, 27 goals, 45 assists for 72 points. So in his career, he's played in 637 games, 169 goals, 285 assists for 454 points. He's hit the 20-plus goal mark 4 times. He's hit the 30-goal mark 1 time. And he's hit the point-per-game mark twice in his career. And that was this past year. He had 99 points in 80 games. And in 2019-2020, he had 72 points in 69 games. Looking at his playoffs, he has 9 goals, 35 assists, 44 points in 78 games played. So he does play pretty well in the playoffs. So, with any team acquiring him, you're getting a veteran presence. You're getting a guy that works well with young prospects. You're getting a guy who plays the game hard. He plays it tough. He plays it physical. And he still can score. So, is he worth the $8+ million price tag? I don't know. It's going to be tough for him to replicate a 99-point year. And, going before that, his statistics don't really stand out at you. As I put in the graph before, looking at his overall, he hasn't had that many consistent years where he's putting up 70, 80, 90 points. So to give him that much money is a question mark because it's going to cost a lot to the Vancouver Canucks to acquire him, and it's going to cost a lot to retain him. So if any of these teams are interested, they all know that right about now, but it's just a question mark. Is JT Miller worth that price tag? based on whatever he offers and the intangibles that he brings that, don't show up on the score sheet. So comment below what you think about this. Do you think JT Miller is an interesting fit for the Rangers, the Islanders, the Hurricanes, or the Devils? Comment below and let me know. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so, and subscribe to the Hockey Skate Down. It's free. And join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.